Do you suck at art? Does your game's UI look like a stinking pile of poop? Well, today I'm gonna show you how I made this in just 1 week, even if you're not an artist. Hello, howdy, and good day, my fellow gamers and game devs. My name is Ricky, and I'm a first-time indie game developer working on my very first game, Cosmic Renegade. Welcome to Devlog number 8. In my last devlog, I made a calendar system for my game so that I could create calendar events that affected prices for certain goods in my game's economy. This was, of course, for the purpose of making progress towards a playable demo of my game. The goal is, of course, to make enough money to pay your Starship mortgage on time, all while navigating the myriad of events that happen in the first month. But I still needed to make my game playable. This means no using the debug log console and no reading the Unity inspector. So I had to make a UI of some sort. But what would it look like? And how am I gonna make it look half decent? If you're subscribed and have been following along with my devlog series, you'll know that in the past I've built my prototypes with pixel art. The problem with pixel art is that, well, it just takes me a long time and it doesn't look all that great in my opinion. Or at least, with my abysmal skills as an artist, it doesn't look that impressive to me. Thing is, I have these sketches from when I was planning out the UI. Like, for example, if you're here on Troutopia and you wanted to travel to Cometa, which is a new food-based planet, you'd want to look at Troutopia's exports and then Cometa's imports to figure out what you need to buy and then stock up on it for your cargo hold. And then you can travel to that planet and sell it for a profit. By the way, for those of you that are interested, I make all of my drawings in Excalidraw plugin for the Obsidian app. The creator for this Obsidian plugin also has their own YouTube channel, so go check it out after this video. If only there was a way for my drawings to be in my game. Wait a second, how did I not think of that before? Why can't I just export my drawings as PNG files with transparent backgrounds, and then import them into Unity as sprites? Yes, I don't think that would look half bad. I can totally do that. First, I created a planet called Cometa. This is a planet whose surface is completely blanketed by these rolling fields of grain and whose population lives in a large ring around the planet called the Dinner Belt. I also made a new commodity called food, which will be the main export of Cometa. Then, I needed to create the sprites for each of these planets. So, I hopped on over to Obsidian Excalidraw and enlarged some of the planets that I had already drawn. I also needed to make them a bit more sloppy so that I could get that sort of hand-drawn feeling. When I was importing these into Unity, I had to mess with the settings quite a bit just to get them to show up properly. But eventually, I managed to get all 4 planets in. After adding those planet names and sprucing up their colors a little bit, I added that diamond-shaped "You Are Here" marker and the planet selector, kind of similar to how I made the planets and imported it into Unity. Then, I added some code to make the planet selector work with the arrow keys and the "You Are Here" marker to update whenever the player travels to another planet. Then, I added sprites for each commodity and I started making the trade book, which would display a planet's imports, exports, and contraband. After a ton of work trying to get the commodity icons to appear in a grid list without overlapping or clipping, I finally got it to work. After making the tradebook UI, I wanted to make the cargo hold inventory UI, so of course I needed to draw it out first. Then, using the tradebook as a base, I modified it to look like that cargo hold inventory drawing that I made. Then I made the update inventory function to update each of the inventory columns, the item icon, its name, its quantity, and the amount of space that it was taking up. Lastly, I made a player UI in the top left corner that shows the number of coins that the player has, the commodities that they can trade on the planet they're on, including its price, and a helpful, help section that they can toggle by pressing H. Hello and welcome back. We are back in Unity. As you can see, things are a little bit different. We have a galactic map in the center. We have 4 planets: Cometa, Isla de Lo-Fi, Troutopia, and Nova Juca. It looks like we are here on Nova Juca because of this indicator. you can see that on the top left we are starting with 200 coins, and looking like there's water for 10 coins. I'm gonna need a little help with the controls. Luckily, there's a little H here. I can press H to toggle for help. Let's do that. Boom. Cool. It gives me a list of controls. I can use A or D to swap commodities. That's this thing, so I can see each commodity as well as its selling price on this planet. I can also buy, sell, and check my inventory with I. Let's check our inventory real quick. You can see that it is empty. Absolutely nothing in there. But we're going to need to buy some stuff from here and then maybe sell it in some other planets. I know that regardless of what I'm going to buy some fuel. I'm going to need some fuel. So I'm going to hit B on this. I bought one. You can see that my coin decreased on the top left. I'm going to hit my I for my inventory. There you go. You can see that I have fuel, one of them in my inventory, and it takes 2 bits of space instead per item of fuel. So that's really good to know. I believe scrap also takes up 2 space instead of just 1. Speaking of scrap, I know Novadruka is a scrap, but does that? How do I know that? I can use right and left arrow keys to select planet, but I can also press T to select the trade book of the planet. So I can use the arrow keys to select which planet I'm going to travel to. For now, I'm going to put it back on Novadruka. I'm going to hit T for the trade book so that I can see its imports and exports. And I can do the same for every single other planet to help me plan where I should be going to. Let me toggle that away. So it looks like Novadruka, where we are currently exporting scrap, just to make sure that is indeed scrap. And it looks like Isla de Lo-Fi is importing scrap, and so is Troutopia. I'm gonna go to Troutopia. Actually, is there anything happening this week? No. Nothing this week, at least as far as I know. No trigger. I think I have a triggered event in here, but I don't think it's gonna trigger. We are going to buy as much scrap as we can get, and we are going to travel to Troutopia. So let me make this UI a little bit less noisy. Go here, like that, and then we're going to buy as much scrap as we can. Oh, something happened. Looks like our inventory is full, and we can check that by pressing I. You can see that I have 1 fuel, just enough for me to travel to Troutopia, and 11 pieces of scrap, taking up 22 units of space. So yeah, scrap also does take up a lot of space. Let me close the cargo inventory. Pull this up. Let me also close the trade books because I don't need them anymore. And we're just going to travel to Troutopia. So in order to travel, I just have to press Enter to select that planet. Boom. Now I'm on Troutopia. I can also check the calendar to see how much time has passed. 1 day to travel. And now I'm going to press S to sell all of this scrap right here. Oh, you can see that our fuel went away because we no longer have fuel. So we're going to press S to sell as much scrap as we can. And there you go. If I press my inventory, you can see that we sold all of our scrap. And on the top left, we made a tidy little profit. That is the updated UI. See? No need to read the debug log. These are great strides in progress, and my game looks that much more playable now. But is it enough? Am I personally ready to have my game in the hands of family, friends, and even strangers at this stage? Or is there more stuff that needs to be added before I think it's enough? As an indie game developer, I'm gonna have to do the unthinkable. I'm gonna have to play my own game. Subscribe to find out what happens next on the Cosmic Renegade Devlog. For now, see you in space, cowboys. I think going forward, I'll be drawing most of my game's assets in Excalidraw, at least for now. I think it's a perfect tool for prototyping because it's literally wireframes, and it takes me like a minute to draw something versus an hour or more for pixel art. I think I'm also getting better at making UI and organizing my canvases in Unity. The biggest test I have moving forward is deciding which systems and game mechanics will make it into the final, the final first cut of the demo, and which ones won't make the cut. I do have a list, but it's not super concrete yet, and I'm kind of doing my best to give you guys some insight, but also kind of keeping things a little close to the chest because I don't want to spoil any surprises. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Anyway, see ya.